Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I am running a little bit late. These kids have been getting in the way of my getting things done in a timely fashion the last 2 days. I got 2 kids in baseball, and then then my older son also has like a cross training class that he does. And between the 2 things, and scrimmages and practices and all that, it can get pretty hairy around here every once in a while. And so when I'm an old man, I hope these kids appreciate all of the moving around and the carting around and the throwing baseballs that I did, because boy, am I tired at the end of the day some days. It can be pretty grueling. And what's even worse is when I'm on low carb, it seems like between a walk and throwing them a baseball in the daytime, it's like I start to run out of energy. It's like you get weak almost. And sometimes I'm like, I haven't been doing low carb the last couple of days, but I almost can't do it when I'm doing all this stuff for kids. Oh well, moving along. Okay, I wanted to show you guys today, or it may have been last night, but today was my first video where I changed it out. I crossed over 17 million total views for this channel. And so I really just wanted to tell everybody thank you for watching my channel. I was joking around with someone the other day about this and telling them that, all of we YouTubers in the XRP community, at one time or another, we are accused of being paid by Ripple. And the truth of the matter is that I don't know anybody at Ripple. But I find it hilarious when somebody accuses me of being paid by Ripple, and the reason is because I imagine the strategy session that would have had to go on at Ripple, and I imagine Brad Garlinghouse and their communications person and all of the Stanford graduates and MIT graduates and Harvard graduates out in San Francisco in California, and I can just imagine them sitting at a table and saying to each other, what would be the perfect strategy to get some influencers on YouTube and to get them on our side? And I just imagine that the first thing that would come out of their mouth is, hey, why don't we find us a Georgia guy who sounds like a total redneck and get him to go on YouTube, because we would be able to influence thousands if we did that. Well, actually, that is if you are thinking to yourself, that is the last thing on the planet that Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple would have thought to do, then you are 100% right. Because what I am doing here, it surprises everyone and surprises me even more than that, because this is has happened completely organically, and I never would have thought it in a million years. But I do appreciate all of you for listening. I never thought that anybody would even want to listen to my silly stories, but I do have a lot of life experience, and I've got a funny accent, and maybe that's the magic. I don't know, but I do appreciate everybody's listening to me. But the guy that designed this outro and the guy that designed my intro is Mike Jansen, and Mike Jansen asked me if he's the announcer for the Indianapolis Colts. Mike Jansen asked me specifically if he could be the official stadium announcer for the Digital Asset Investor channel. And he was one of the guys that emailed me and messaged me when I first started and asked if he could help in any way, asked if he could design my intro for free, and he did. And so I definitely, no question about it, we are now decreeing that Mike Jansen is the official stadium announcer of the Digital Asset Investor channel. He also does production work. If you need video production work, mgjansen.com. Go check him out. Okay, moving on. Today, the Ripple Drop came out. Episode 15 of the Ripple Drop is here. Chris Larsen, SF, San Francisco, I guess Chris Larsen, San Francisco, shares his thoughts on the Internet of Value, and Michelle Bond, who is the global head of government relations, talks about the importance of regulatory clarity for blockchain and digital assets. We don't get to hear from Chris Larsen very often, and so this was really cool to watch. You need to go definitely watch it at Ripple. And then there is this from XRP. Bart sent me this one. Ripple also tweeted this today. Even our employees run on Ripple. Congratulations to our team for completing the JP Morgan Corporate Challenge. Ripple Life, hashtag JPMCC. Now, of course, when something like this is tweeted, our people in the XRP community, the wheels begin to turn immediately. Lionel at Lionel462-94550 says JP Morgan seemed to be pretty close friends with hashtag Ripple. They're talking about JP Morgan. So anytime, Ripple can't even say a word without all kinds of things stirring and getting said and theories. But isn't that what makes it all fun for all this while we're waiting for XRP to go up in price? I think that it's exactly what makes it fun for everybody. XRP Yoda at XRP Yoda sent me this. Okay, this is big news today. Apple has launched its Apple Music service on the web, opening access to users who prefer a browser instead of an app. And this is pretty big news right here. And for XRP fans, it's big news for another reason, or could be big news. C3 Nick sent me this as a flashback reminder. Stefan Thomas from Coil in August of 2018 said, we gave a presentation at Apple and they called it Coil, the Amazon Prime for the whole internet. How, if Coil is related to Apple's most recent statements at all, is unknown and speculative at this point. And he has the video from that. Now, next we have this, and again, this is speculation, but it's still interesting to look at. From Brian Melancholy XRP at Mike Honcho _11 sent me this tweet right here from Crypto Captain at Hodl Lagai, who is ready for Apple Pay to use XRP. He's got a series of little slides that were articles. R3 launches universal settler application to facilitate global payments on Corda, XRP the first settlement mechanism. And then he's got this press release, MasterCard joins Marco Polo network to advance global trade through optimized financing. Marco Polo being R3's Marco Polo. And then MasterCard with Apple Pay. Apple Pay with MasterCard. Enjoy all the benefits of your MasterCard using Apple Pay. It's the easy, secure, private way to pay. And then there's this, and it's from R3. Marco Polo is one of the fastest growing trade finance business networks. It is a joint undertaking with trade finance technology from TradeIX, working with enterprise software firm R3 and a network of the world's leading financial institutions. So pretty interesting stuff there, how all that could, not necessarily does, but could tie together. Then this was from Mr. B. He tweeted this out, and it's a great tweet. 61 of Japan's 200 banks are going to be using XRP. All of the banks in India are going to be using Ripple with XRP use potential. And this guy down here asks him, where is the info that all the banks in India will use XRP? Where was this said? And he didn't say in the tweet that all the banks in India would use XRP. He said all the banks in India are going to use Ripple with XRP use potential. But anyway, when this was asked, he showed them this article. And this is an article from 2 months ago. X-Current being brought to all Indian banks, says Ripple engineer. And let me look and see which engineer. It was Ashish Burla, I guess, said this. Okay, and then we got this from Jonathan D. At XRP_YD7. This is from CoinDesk. Just in, Binance has announced a dollar-backed stablecoin approved by New York Department of Financial Services and launched in partnership with Paxos Global. Now, A lot of companies have had a rough time getting approved by the New York Department of Financial Services for anything. So Binance, and this is what I want you to be thinking about. Binance is all of a sudden able to get approval. And Binance.us, when they announced that Binance.com was closing to U.S. residents, they immediately says Binance.us is going to be opening in the United States, I think in September. And a Ripple executive is going to be running it. Well, what I want you to be thinking about is now that they've gotten approval for a stable coin and they're able to come into the U.S., you have to think Binance had to give something to the United States to do this. And I've said this before on this channel, and I want to say it again. All of you from the U.S. that have been using Binance thinking that it's not in the U.S. and you don't have to report that to the IRS or whatever, think again, because trust you me, and this is just me talking, but I would bet you anything that in return for Binance being able to come into the U.S., that CZ Binance has had to turn over the U.S. residents' information to the IRS, which there's nothing wrong with, because I hope that all of you listening to my voice, anytime I've brought the subject of taxes up, I've always told you to assume that you are going to be tracked on all of it, because you are. One way or another, they're going to figure out what you have. So be ready to pay your taxes on anything that you did with Binance. Okay, and next, this goes in hand with that as well. XRP Wizard, at Wizard XRP, told me about this. Ledger had an announcement today, now available on desktop and soon on mobile. ERC20 tokens are now supported on Ledger Live. Manage more than 1,250 assets through one app. Now, here's where that's important. There are many of you that had ERC20 tokens like Holochain on Binance, and you're having to get all of your assets off of Binance. So now, whereas you were having to use My Ether wallet and hooking your Ledger up and connecting to that, now apparently you can do it straight in the Ledger software, which makes it a lot easier. So now you know, and that's important. Okay, and finally, got this from King Solomon. Thailand, the entire country, to embed DLT as a major component of the country's capital market infrastructure. Doing more digging on this. Accenture, RippleNet, and Baker McKenzie will serve as project consultants. That is big, folks. And finally, last thing I want to show you here is this, and I wanted to make sure you understood, I am not a BitTrue ambassador, but I do use BitTrue myself. I've done things on BitTrue. I've tried their Power Piggy, and I've used it. It worked fine for me. I do not use it anymore. I personally am not comfortable with keeping my digital assets on any exchange, and so I'm not. The only one I have kept it on is some in the Coinbase vault, and I went over that the other day. But I don't keep any just on an exchange. I just don't do it. But this is an announcement from BitTrue. The BitTrue team will be live on XRP Zoo this Saturday, September 7th, 5 p.m. Broadcasting from, don't know what that is. Come on, join our CEO, Curious Wang, BitTrue Ambassador, XRP Twin, community member, XRP Boo Boo, and more, all answering your questions. So go check them out. I know the XRP Zoo, I message with them sometimes. XRP Zoo, I'm sorry. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button. And ask your friends and family, if they were Ripple and they wanted to pay someone to talk about Ripple, wouldn't this voice be the last voice that they would pay? I think it would be. Thank you for listening.